Number 9. Land O'Lakes, a legacy of trust tainted by recalls. Land O'Lakes is a name that's been in American kitchens longer than most brands on this list. The classic farm-themed packaging evokes trust, tradition, and that golden slice of toast moment. It looks like a safe bet. But behind that wholesome aesthetic lies a history that might make you think twice before reaching for it again. This isn't just about one bad batch. Over the years, Land O'Lakes has faced several recalls, some of them pretty serious. One of the most unsettling incidents involved metal fragments being found in butter sticks. Metal. In butter. Now, for healthy adults, that might be a yikes moment. But for seniors, that's a potential trip to urgent care. Think about it. Many older adults are on medications like blood thinners. A tiny cut in the mouth or a nick inside the digestive tract from a sharp contaminant can spiral into something much worse. It's not overreacting, it's just risk awareness. And here's the tricky part. Taste and texture won't warn you. You spread a smooth, creamy slice onto your toast. It feels like any other morning. But those hidden dangers? They're not something the flavor will reveal, and that's exactly what makes it dangerous. If you're shopping for someone elderly or if you're a senior yourself, take this brand's recall history seriously. That beautiful farm scene on the box might be comforting, but nostalgia doesn't protect your health. Before putting any butter in your cart, especially a familiar one, check the brand's recall records. It only takes a minute and it could prevent a painful, costly mistake. Number 8. I can't believe it's not butter. But can you believe what's inside? This one's tricky. I can't believe it's not butter was marketed as the guilt-free spread that gave you that buttery taste without the calories, without the cholesterol, and supposedly without the risk. But it's that last part that gets murky. For a while, these types of buttery spreads, especially margarine-based ones, relied on partially hydrogenated oils to stay shelf-stable and spreadable. Those oils, loaded with trans fats, became public enemy number 1 in the health world. Government stepped in. Health experts warned everyone. Eventually, many of these oils were banned. Fast forward to today, and this brand now claims it no longer uses trans fats or those problematic oils. That's good news on the surface, but let's not stop there. Many of these spreads are still ultra-processed, which means a whole cocktail of emulsifiers, stabilizers, artificial flavor systems, and more. And for seniors, especially those with heart conditions, cholesterol sensitivity, or on multiple medications. That's a red flag. It's not about fear-mongering, it's about being clear-eyed. For people managing serious health conditions, even something as small as an unknown additive can throw off a delicate balance. That's why this brand, despite its new formulations, still raises eyebrows for the health-conscious. Bottom line, don't just read the front label. Zero trans fats or heart healthy doesn't mean the product is clean. Flip it around, look at that ingredient list. If it reads more like a chemistry set than something you'd find in your kitchen cabinet, maybe it's time to believe that it's not butter and it's not worth the risk. Number 7. Kerrygold, the premium butter with a packaging problem. Kerrygold has this image: luxurious, pasture-raised, Irish, rich in flavor. And to be fair, it does taste pretty incredible. It's a go-to for home chefs who want to add that extra depth to baked goods and sauces. But even premium brands aren't perfect. And in Kerrygold's case, the red flag came not from what's in the butter, but what's around it. There have been serious concerns around PFAS chemicals in the foil wrappers used in certain batches. These so-called forever chemicals are notoriously hard to break down and can build up in the body over time. Studies have linked them to issues like higher cholesterol, immune system suppression, and even certain cancers. Now Kerrygold responded. They made changes to packaging in some markets, addressed lawsuits, and improved transparency in some areas. But here's the issue for seniors. Even trace exposure to environmental toxins like PFAS matters more when the body is already under stress from age, medications, or chronic conditions. If a butter's wrapping is under scrutiny, it means the product could be part of a wider problem. No one is saying every stick is dangerous, but if you're choosing butter for a loved one with liver, kidney, or cholesterol concerns, this might not be the brand you want on the breakfast table every day. Want to enjoy Kerrygold? Use it occasionally, maybe for that special Sunday breakfast or holiday baking. But for everyday toast, Stick with something that's got more transparent packaging and less chemical controversy. Number 6. Country Crock. Comfort branding, but the label tells a different story. Country Crock just feels familiar, doesn't it? The comforting name, the easy-to-use tub, the plant-based messaging. But this is a classic case of read the fine print. Country Crock's newer products include plant-based butter alternatives. That sounds great for people trying to avoid dairy or saturated fats. But here's where the confusion starts. Labeling disputes and lawsuits have piled up around how these products are marketed. For example, Country Crock has been called out for misleading olive oil claims, and trade groups have challenged their use of the word butter on non-dairy products. That's not just legal drama, it's about how accurately the label reflects what's inside. For someone shopping with dietary restrictions, misleading ingredient lists can have real consequences. A senior looking to reduce sodium might grab a tub thinking it's heart healthy, only to discover that it contains emulsifiers, palm oils, and a sodium content that's anything but low. And plant-based doesn't automatically mean better. Many of these spreads rely on ultra-processed ingredients to mimic real butter's texture and flavor. So if you're avoiding dairy due to an allergy or trying to cut saturated fat, don't just trust the label, check the ingredient panel. Better yet, use extra virgin olive oil on toast. It's simple, it's known, and there's no ingredient roulette involved. Number 5. Challenge butter, cheap and cheerful but sometimes off. Challenge butter pops up a lot on value shelves. It's affordable, widely available, and doesn't pretend to be something it's not. But affordability sometimes comes with trade-offs. Multiple consumers have flagged issues with spoiled or off-smelling butter in fresh sealed packages. Imagine opening your fridge, slicing into a stick of butter, and noticing a faint sour smell, or worse, that weird, waxy, almost plastic aroma. For most people, that's just disappointing. But for seniors, especially those with sensitive digestion, immune concerns, or on medications, even mild spoilage can spell trouble. An upset stomach, nausea, or dizziness could lead to falls, doctor visits, or serious complications. So why does this happen? Lower-cost butter often involves longer storage times, wider sourcing of dairy, and less rigid temperature controls. That opens the door to rancidity, a natural but unpleasant breakdown of fats that can turn a decent butter into a risky one. Want to use Challenge? Inspect every package, smell it before serving, use it quickly. But if you're feeding someone vulnerable, it might be smarter to choose something more consistent. Number 4. Bluebonnet, a friendly face that doesn't always tell the truth. Bluebonnet has one of those packages that just makes you feel at ease. Bright colors, cheerful branding, and promises like made with real ingredients or heart healthy. But in the world of food products, a smiley label doesn't guarantee a clean product. Some versions of Bluebonnet spreads have been part of regulatory scrutiny and consumer complaints, especially when it comes to what's actually inside the tub. Think about phrases like real ingredients or butter flavor. They sound reassuring, but they often cover up long ingredient lists filled with emulsifiers, hydrogenated oils, salt, and artificial flavor systems. For a senior managing blood pressure or cholesterol, these mystery blends are a hidden risk. Some blends marketed under Bluebonnet or similar names have even triggered Proposition 65 notices, which in California highlight possible exposure to harmful chemicals. It's not about fear, it's about clarity. When every bite matters, especially for people with sensitive health, you want to know exactly what you're eating. Unfortunately, Bluebonnet's ingredient list often raises more questions than it answers. If the label says natural but includes preservatives and flavor enhancers, that's a red flag. For people over 50, especially those on heart meds or low-sodium diets, it's smarter to look for spreads with short, transparent ingredient lists. Or better yet, just use a small amount of real butter or olive oil. Number 3. President. Fancy name, foreign risks. President butter sounds like class. Imported from France, rich in taste, beautifully packaged, it feels like you're treating yourself. But even luxury brands come with their own set of concerns. In fact, President has been involved in multiple product recalls overseas, particularly in Europe. The issues? Contaminated batches, labeling concerns, and presence of foreign matter. And while that might seem like a faraway problem, imported dairy products often have longer supply chains. That means more opportunities for temperature mishandling, storage issues, or cross-border contamination. Here's what makes this important for older consumers. Bacteria like Listeria and Salmonella, often involved in dairy recalls, are way more dangerous for seniors. And you won't see it, smell it, or taste it. The butter might look totally fine. But that's exactly the problem. These infections don't always give you a warning. So yes, President might be delicious. But if it's going to sit in the fridge for a while or be used by someone with a delicate immune system or chronic health concerns, maybe reach for a domestic brand with a clear safety record instead. It's not about cutting out indulgence completely. Save the fancy butter for holidays or special occasions. But for daily use, especially for older adults, predictability and transparency matter more than imported flair. Number 2. Land O'Lakes Whipped Spread. Light and airy and full of additives. Let's circle back to Land O'Lakes, this time the whipped spread version. The tub-style butter looks light, tastes smooth, and glides onto toast like a dream. But open that ingredient list, and things start to look a little different. This isn't just butter, it's a blend of water, oils, and real butter, bulked up with preservatives like sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and stabilizers like soy lecithin. The whipped texture may seem appealing, but it's often achieved by incorporating more air and additives, which means people end up using more volume than they realize. For seniors managing kidney function, sodium intake, or on medications, every one of those preservatives can add strain. And because it's so easy to scoop a big, fluffy blob onto toast or vegetables, it's easy to exceed the small amount recommendation without even noticing. And there's a safety factor too. Whipped spreads in tubs are opened and reused multiple times, increasing the risk of cross-contamination from utensils. For someone with a weaker immune system, even a mild foodborne bacteria can cause major issues. If you want convenience, check labels for spreads with fewer preservatives and no hydrogenated oils. Or better yet, stick with simple stick butter. It's less likely to collect bacteria, and the ingredients are much easier to understand. Number 1. Organic Valley, the organic label that isn't risk-free. Organic Valley should be a slam dunk, right? It's organic, it's from a cooperative, and it carries that whole back-to-the-land vibe. But even organic dairy isn't immune to problems, and this brand shows why. Let's start with the organic residue issue. Despite best practices, several independent testing labs have found trace pesticides or synthetic residues in some Organic Valley butter batches. This doesn't mean the butter is bad, but it does mean the organic label is not a guarantee of purity, especially when you're dealing with environmental drift, legacy soil chemicals, or cross-contamination. And there's another angle: packaging chemicals. Consumer watchdog groups have found traces of PFAS-related chemicals, yes, the same forever chemicals, in some of the wrappers used in Organic Valley butter. PFAS can build up in the body over time. For seniors with weakened detox systems, kidney or liver conditions, or who are already managing other chemical exposures from medications, this matters. Organic Valley still produces high-quality dairy overall. But if you're shopping for daily butter use, especially for older adults with health sensitivities, maybe don't assume organic equals zero risk. Rotate brands. Favor those with shorter ingredient lists and minimal packaging additives. Let's talk about what's actually worth buying. So that's 9 brands that deserve extra scrutiny. Now, what about the good news? 2 brands that actually earn their place in your fridge. Safe pick number 1, Tillamook. Simple, clean, dependable. Tillamook has something that's getting harder to find in the food world: predictability. Their butter is made from churned cream and salt. That's it. No additives, no preservatives, and a strong track record when it comes to quality control. While some of their other dairy products, like cheese slices, have had minor recalls, their butter line has remained remarkably consistent. For seniors, that consistency is golden. You want to know what's going in the body, especially when medications and chronic conditions are in the picture. Tillamook is also transparently labeled, and their production practices have earned them trust among food safety reviewers and professional bakers alike. It's a good choice for everyday use, whether it's morning toast, sautéing vegetables, or baking a cake. Just make sure to store it in the coldest part of the fridge, follow best before dates, and use the opened stick within a reasonable window. That's it. No drama, just dependable dairy. Safe pick number 2, Plus Gras, the quiet hero of premium butter. Plus Gras doesn't make a ton of noise with flashy labels. But what it does offer is premium European-style butter with a focus on clarity, quality, and consistency. It has a higher butter fat content, 82%, which means richer flavor and better baking performance. And unlike many brands that try to balance quality with cost cutting, Plus Gras maintains a clean ingredient list, consistent texture, and, this is key, no widespread recalls or controversies. It's also backed by the Dairy Farmers of America, a cooperative that takes supply chain control seriously. That means fewer surprises, tighter quality control, and better overall food safety. Is it the cheapest option? No, but for people who want their butter to do more, baking, sauces, desserts, this is a worthwhile upgrade. For seniors, especially those who still love to cook or bake for family, Plus Gras offers trust in every stick. Butter isn't just butter anymore. The brands you choose come with hidden ingredients, packaging risks, or quality control gaps that can seriously affect health, especially for older adults. And if you've had a bad experience with any of the butters mentioned here, or found a hidden gem not on the list, drop it in the comments. Let's keep each other informed and safe. Stay sharp, stay curious, and most importantly, stay healthy at the Spread Station.